Hey everybody, what's up? It is Finish Strong Friday, and you are here for episode 60. I don't know what episode this is, maybe 67, I'm not sure, of Standing Out, podcast about sales, marketing, and leadership. I'm Trey Griggs with Beta Consulting Group. Thanks for joining us today. Glad to have you with us. If you would take a moment and check us out at betaconsultinggroup.com. We are your brand strategist, brand specialist, marketing, content creation, social media, podcasting, all of that good stuff. We love to tell stories. We want to help you tell your story. So check us out. Let us know we can help you out. Appreciate that. Also, a huge shout out to my sponsor, TAFS, for supporting us here at Standing Out. These are the good guys in freight factoring, really working to educate their carriers on what they're signing, what contracts mean, make sure they have the capital to grow and thrive in any market, discounts on fuels, tires, all that good stuff. They want their carriers to grow, and that's how they're going to grow, and I love that. So make sure you check them out at TAFS.com or visit the comments section today of the show. A link will be in there that will take you directly to my landing page with TAFS, just so they know that I sent you over that way. That way you can get started with them. And if you're a freight broker, you can become a referral partner. Make sure that your carriers have all the resources they need to thrive and to continue moving your freight. So thanks to my friends over at TAFS. Well, it is Finish Strong Friday. We've had a fabulous week of shows this week. Hope you've had a great short week. Next week is going to be absolutely amazing. We're going to be in Orlando on Monday and Tuesday at the TMSA Level Up Conference. And on Monday, we got a special treat for you guys. We did this about a month ago, but on Monday, we're going to have a mashup show with the one and only Chris Jolly, aka the Freight Coach of the Freight Coach Morning Show. We're going to do a little mashup at TMSA. On Tuesday, my good friend Holly Laboda, who's a sales consultant and just phenomenal, she's going to be at the show as well. We're going to come live from Orlando as well with another episode on Tuesday. Back home in St. Louis on Wednesday with my good friend Chris Torrance, talking about his life in the startup world. On Thursday, talking to my friend Rich Hankins about technology and creating technology in transportation and how he approaches that as a data engineer. And then on Friday, my good friend Dan McCann, the founder of SimTrain. And I'm very excited about that episode because we're going to talk about training and onboarding and tools that just make it so much easier to make sure your team gets off on the right foot. So it's going to be an awesome week of shows. Make sure you come back every day at 10:30 a.m. Central for Standing Out. And of course, because it's Finish Strong Friday, everybody, that means that at noon Central today, in just about an hour and a half, we're going to have episode 109 of The Word on the Street, powered by Beta Consulting Group. We got a special guest, Don Salvucci-Favier of Greenscreens.ai is going to be with us. We're going to be talking about Donut Day, which is today, midterm elections, pricing in the industry, all kinds of great stuff on the show today. So make sure you come back right here on LinkedIn Live, YouTube, and Twitter, and we'll have a great time today on The Word on the Street. Got some new walk-up music for today, so make sure you catch that in about an hour and a half. Okay. I want to bring on our guest today. I'm so excited to have this guy on the show. If you follow him on LinkedIn or if you're in transportation, you've probably heard about this guy and you've probably heard about their company doing some awesome work, growing organically, and then working to change the industry, to actually impact the industry in a very positive way through their campaign in NonCompetes. Very excited today to welcome my friend, the founder and CEO of Steam Logistics, Steve Cox. Hey, Steve, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
Very well. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, great to have you on the show, man. This is actually our first conversation. We've been following each other on LinkedIn. I think we've exchanged some messages, and I've been following you for a long time, but so excited to get a chance to talk to you today. For those who are watching that just may not know who you are and kind of what you're up to, give a little intro into Steve Cox and Steam Logistics.
Yeah, I'll make it quick. I don't want to bore anyone. I started my career in '95, and the funny thing about that is there are a lot of people that work for me now that or work in our office now that weren't even born then. So that's a tough realization as you get to that age. But it's been 25 years in the industry, and I've really loved every moment of it. But I started out at C.H. Robinson in '95, and I spent 8 years there, and was fortunate enough to kind of meet Ted Alling, who was the founder of Access America Transport while he worked at CH, and he left to start Access America in 2002. And ended up opening a branch in Minneapolis for him when the company was pretty small, 8 or 10 people, and was able to. We were very fortunate at Access America. We grew very quickly. Over the years, we went from about 50 million to $500 million in 5 years, and we ended up exiting that business and selling that to Coyote. And Steam Logistics was the international arm of Access America, and we thought it would be brilliant to start international, and it would be really easy because we're doing really well on the domestic side, but guess what? It's not so easy. And we might as well have been manufacturing boxes, how different it was. And so we had a rude awakening there, moving over, But I've been here for 8 or 9 years now, and things have been going very well at Steam, and so we've been very, very privileged. But that's my history in transportation.
No, it's a great story. And, Matthew, DJ, calm down. We're going to get to non-competes. We'll get there in just a minute. I got to talk to you, Steve, first about your company and some of the milestones that you're hitting and doing it organically, not taking private money, doing it all organically. You guys are getting close to hitting $1 billion in revenue, I think, for schedule for this year. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. I mean, between 900 million and $1 billion, we believe we'll pass last year's number of 350 million in the next couple of days, actually, which is really cool. It's a cool milestone hit in June. And as most people know, a lot of sales are kind of front loaded or backloaded into the end of the year. Like last year, we did 50 million in the first quarter and ended up at 350 overall. So we truly believe that we can make a run at $1 billion this year. It'd be really a cool number to hit. Obviously, that should happen next year. So yeah, it's been a really neat thing. Now, we did 33 million in 2019, and it took 6 years to get to that number. So it wasn't an easy road leading up to that, but certainly the numbers lately have been really explosive and really a cool thing to be a part of.
Congratulations on that. And you're coming up on your 10-year anniversary, which is really special, of course. But you've also kind of gone the different route of not taking private equity, not having acquisitions or partnerships in that regard from a private equity standpoint. Talk about your philosophy in that, because this day and age, that's so celebrated in terms of taking money and growing. I mean, that's kind of how people try to grow these days. But you took a different approach, and I'm just curious to understand your philosophy behind that.
Well, number one, I don't think we would know how to take money, and I hate to say it that way. We kind of know how to do one thing, and that's grow organically. And we did that at Access America over that time. And again, I'm not the CFO, which I know he's had some sleepless nights because that line of credit has to continue to increase. And now we're in a really good spot. You know how it is. The banks don't want to loan you any money when you're small, and then when you're big, they want to loan you all kinds of money you don't need. So it has been a challenge for him over the years, and we're in a really good spot now. But I just don't think I know how to spend money. And I always look at companies that celebrate that they've received $100 million at some $1 billion valuation, and that's just not us, to be honest.
Yeah, and I love the fact that you're true to yourself. I think sometimes that's hard as a leader. You feel the pressures, you see what everybody else is doing. Sometimes you think that's what you have to do, and not there's anything wrong with that. We're not bashing. Yeah. That's just a different way of doing business. No. But staying true to who you are, I think, is so critical as a leader, and it's critical to creating a really good culture, which you've done. I love seeing the culture you've created at Steam, the posts you've created, the attitude of your team, and that goes back to you being true to yourself, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think it's been really great. I know we see posts. There's a company out there that kind of shows your employee engagement. We were like number 4 in the world for having people reshare our posts. And I think that says a lot about the culture that we have here, and the opportunity that our people believe that they have here, the path that they have to be successful, to change their lives. And so when you see posts being reshared on LinkedIn and some other things being put on LinkedIn by your employees, it definitely feels good.
Yeah, and some leaders struggle with their employees posting on social media or having a presence, having a voice. What's your thought around your team and how you want them to engage, and what the benefit is for your company when they do create content, when they do engage, when they do write posts, things like that?
I think a lot of it benefits recruiting. And we need a lot of people. Like, we need them in all of our branch locations in Chattanooga also, but we see it in recruiting. I think that when you look at LinkedIn and you see the positivity that's coming out from our people and the opportunity that they believe they have here, and it really benefits us on that side. And everyone knows, everyone's hiring, right? And so how do you stand out from that monstrous crowd out there trying to hire people?
Yeah, I think that's the key, is figuring out how to stand out. I talked to Josh Breeze at Freight Bonnie just yesterday on the show, and he said that he spent $0 on recruiting, and it's because of the social media presence that they're posting, and their people, posting content, having engagement on social media is the number one factor that's helped them recruit. So I think you're absolutely right about that.
Yeah, it's been a really neat thing.
Yeah, when you think about culture and you think about, you're a growing company, multiple locations, probably hundreds, if not thousands of employees now. How have you been able to maintain the culture of your company from those early days where you had a few people to now, being a really large organization?
Yeah, our commission, I think there's a few things that I think really contribute to we have a very low voluntary turnover, and especially for the industry, it's incredible. And it says a lot about the commission plan that we have. That doesn't change. It gives everyone an opportunity to kind of see. It's kind of cool because it's very transparent, so you can see what everyone else makes here. So there's no real secrets. And also, I think the path to promotion, right? You don't have to wait for Lloyd over in the corner to pass away to be an EVP here, right? You can be a director with 10 people in your pod, and at 25 you're a VP, and at 50 SVP, and so on. So you do have an opportunity to kind of see your path. You're not hoping for it. It's very black and white for people. So it's very cool to have that also, and so it makes it very easy to manage in that. And as far as culture, I think we just have a very upbeat place. As you know, we're cradle to grave here, and so that can be a very siloed thing. But I think people can walk across the aisle, talk to someone that has nothing to do with them, and they'll stop and help them out because they understand what it's like to be new. They understand that as we grow, it benefits everyone. It's a neat culture to be in. And I think another thing that contributes to it is like we're very present here as an ownership group and as an executive group. We have seats on the floor. There are no offices here. There are no doors. I sit in the middle, as does our CEO of the floor, and it's just I would have it no other way. And I think that helps our culture too. That they know that we're involved every day in the business and that we're passionate about it and passionate about the opportunity for them to change their lives. We all. Do I have to be here every day? Maybe not, but man, I love coming in here every day, and I absolutely love someone that maybe has come from a different background and they just have an opportunity to change their lives. That's what excites me every day about coming in here.
Yeah, well, I'm not surprised to hear that you sit right on the floor. In fact, I think one of my favorite posts all time was you banging the gong with a football helmet on, if I remember correctly, about a year ago, something like that. I remember that on there. Matthew, you're absolutely right.
That was very poor tackling, and I could have had a spinal cord injury. So
the gong did not go down, but it was a nice ring. But Matthew says transparency and compensation is incredibly valuable. Transparency is like honesty. When you're honest, you don't have to remember anything. It just simplifies life. Yeah. Transparency is the same way. Definitely simplifies life. But something you just said is really critical. In fact, you're passionate about helping people change their life. A lot of leaders think that their team is there to serve them. Like you just do what I ask you to do. But when you take that approach that you're there to serve your team and you're there to help them get what they want, that is very attractive. And that's a great reason why your retention is probably really high, because they understand, man, Steve's here to help me get somewhere. I'm not here to build Steve's dream. Steve's actually helping me build my dream. That is powerful.
Yeah, and I spent a good portion of my youth in a trailer park. We were on welfare all the way through high school. So I mean, I just feel like if there's I'm not a real political guy, but I feel like it's true capitalism that people have an opportunity to come in here and work really hard and be rewarded for it, really for their effort. And people say that all the time, but we're not looking to find a way to hit some poor person that has really done well here and try to find a way to kind of cap their salary or commission or anything like that. Like we want to look for ways for they can make more, like they deserve that. And so I feel like part of my job is to protect that at all costs for our people. Like you've got a really unique opportunity to change your life here. And when somebody says that they bought a car or something like that, done something life-changing, we've heard people send me emails all the time about something they've been able to do that they haven't been able to do in the past. Like that's what fires me up every single day.
Yeah, there's no greater feeling than seeing people succeed, that you get to have a part in that, just a little piece in that. Yeah. I remember, I'm a teacher coach by nature. I was a teacher before I got into sales and coach sports. And there's just no better feeling than seeing your team succeed and get to celebrate and, all the hard work that they put in. And I mean, as a coach, I never took any shots. I never made any passes. I never blocked any shots, but it was just neat to be a part of that. And that's how it is as a leader. That's how it is as a business owner. It's great to see your team succeed and just get you up in the morning, right?
Yeah, it's a privilege to be a part of it. I'm on this show with you because of our people, what they've done. Like, recognition for me is like, I just like to see our people do well. I really do.
Yeah, no, I love that. I love that. Well, let's transition to what everybody probably wants to hear about, which, Matthew will get to it here. And that is, in non-competes, so you've kind of created a campaign and created quite a buzz in the industry. And I have to say that I absolutely love it. I'm very passionate about that as well, about giving people freedom, giving people choices and opportunities. And so real quick, talk about the evolution, the creation and evolution of the In Non-Competes campaign. And for everybody out there who wants to learn more about it, go to www.incompetes.com or noncompetes.com. and you can learn more about that. But Steve, go ahead and talk a little bit about the evolution of that.
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I talk about I have a class every Friday here, and they're all for the new brokers in the company. And what I end it with every week is like, you're not wasting a moment of your time here. You're like learning how to be an entrepreneur. You're learning how to cradle to grave business, sales calls, customer retention, and infiltration, like all that stuff. And if in 3 years you decide there's a better opportunity out there, like that's fine. Like we don't have a problem with that. I mean, who am I to hold up someone from maybe going after a better opportunity in this industry? So, for us, and again, we received some letters, a year and a half ago when we first started our domestic department. And obviously that's annoying because we're not out to violate a non-solicit, but people should be able to move freely in the industry. And if they're not, they might go to a different industry. So why, as an industry, are we looking to restrict movement? We certainly aren't. And so, it kind of started that way. Like I was kind of sick of getting letters. But now it's like, why would I want some poor college kid that wants to get into transportation? They're signing something that they don't even know what it means. They're just happy to have a new job. And then suddenly 2 years in, they think, oh man, I got this new opportunity and I can't go do that. And I brought this because I literally received a LinkedIn message yesterday. And I think it kind of like summed it all up for me. And I'll read it real quick. This person said, I love your perspective on non-competes. I was offered a president role of a young logistics firm and had it stripped away when they panicked over a letter from my previous employer. I ended up unemployed into the holidays as COVID started. Thanks for what you're doing for so many. Like it's not benefiting Steam. I mean, we've actually, spent a lot of money on the marketing and the website to put this out there. It just benefits young people in the industry who are frankly bullied by large companies who, they just go after them individually. And those individuals have no choice. They're not going to be able to afford a lawyer to fight that. And most of them just give in and have to kind of put up with that. So we've taken the stance that we are 100% hiring people from anyone that has a non-compete out there. We've probably hired people from them. They are blatantly violating those non-competes. We've said that before. That is happening. We're not here to violate non-solicits, and we take care of that if that happens. But on the non-compete side, we are definitely doing it. We will committed to defend those employees if they are sued by their former employer, and we're willing to spend whatever it takes to take that case all the way. But we haven't seen one, to be honest. We haven't seen a letter in a year and a half. So
yeah, I love what you're doing. And, as a human being, there's nothing worse than your freedoms being limited. I mean, that is just like that's an innate human quality, the ability to choose, the ability to pursue your dream and do what you want to do. And we're so blessed with that here in America. And this is just one of those times where it has been abused. And you're right. I mean, the people who are signing these don't necessarily understand. And, let's educate them. I can never remember a college class that said, hey, read some contracts. Here's some contracts to read. Let's read through the contract language. Unless you're a lawyer, you don't get that kind of training, right? And you don't have.
Well, they trust that the employer has their best interest in mind,
exactly.
And obviously they don't in that case.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that we talked about this earlier, but competition breeds excellence. It breeds improvement. And so if non-competes exist, then it eliminates the need for a company to become better, to improve their culture, to improve how they treat their employees. But you remove non-competes, and now culture wins. The best companies will win. The companies that treat their employees the best, that give the best opportunities, that provide, they win. And so I think that's just really key. Matthew's always chiming in here. He's one of the smartest dudes I know. Non-competes are bad for customers, bad for employees, and bad for shareholders. It is not just logistics. Tens of millions of Americans are locked up in these terrible contracts. It's an epidemic. No doubt about it. And I'm so excited that not only have you carried this mantle, but you now have a lot of companies that are now partnering with you, Beta Consulting being one of those as well. So thank you for letting us be a part of that. The Armchair Attorney is a part of that. I do have to raise a little bit of beef with you though, Steve. Listen, so Matthew's a good friend of mine. We both have logos, cartoon logos. Somehow his ended up in the very middle of the graphic. And I'm like in the lower left-hand corner. I don't know what happened on the graphic, but
you didn't even pay us for that. Like nobody's paid us for anything when it comes to that. So yeah, I don't know how it happened.
No, thank you for letting us be a part of that. How many companies are now a part of this movement in logistics, transportation?
I have to send out a new graphic. I think I'll be able to do it this afternoon. I thought it was 60 plus 50 that we were waiting. We're just waiting on logos and their permission to publish that. Because we do wait for that. But I think there's in the 100 to 120 range. But honestly, and it's said a lot of the top 100 brokerages are not on that graphic. And for them, I think that it's going to get really tough to recruit, because we are going to get this website to all the college campuses and start raising some awareness around what you're signing. And because there's a lot of companies out there with great cultures, and they don't have non-competes. And I would think, as a college student, I would much rather do that and then limit myself thinking that I'm going to work at wherever it is for 30 years. You know what I mean?
Right. No,
so it's going to be a lot more difficult for them to recruit. And there's going to be some exposure coming up, like not just the people that don't have them, but there's going to be some lists of people that do. And I don't think I want to be on the list of people that do.
Yeah, no, I agree completely. And yeah, certainly the more that you can educate these young people that come out of college, and they just don't know, right? I mean, I just remember being a young college guy, getting out and just happy to get a job.
Yeah.
Not sure exactly what you're signing, but I guess this is how the world works. I don't know. So I love the fact that you want to educate. I think that's so powerful. And it just goes back to what you said before about, leaders should be in the business of helping their teams build their dreams. And I love what you said. If somebody 3 years down the road realizes they have a better opportunity somewhere else, whether that's on their own or with another company, like, they should have the opportunity to go and do that, know? And I think that, the goodwill that you get out of that. I mean, if you help somebody do that, you don't think they're going to tell people, hey, you should go work for Steve at Steam. He helped me get here. There's that goodwill that you're going to get out of it, and the culture that you're building that really matters in the long term. It's a long game proposition. It's not the short term proposition. I think that's powerful.
And lawyers are the only ones that are winning in this. I mean, that's it. Like, sorry, Matthew. When they sue each other, they don't win. Like, there's no monetary value that they're winning.
Right.
A damage that you got a 4-month employee, and you're not going to win a bunch of damages because someone else hired them. Like, and recently it was great to see Project 44 take on Four Kites and beat them in court. Like, shame on Four Kites, to be honest. Like, there's no reason why. And it was a very similar case. Like, I would not want to be published, for us or any of the other people, any of the other companies agreeing to do this, but have your non-compete enforcement letter publish, 1, on LinkedIn, and 2, to actually go to court, which we are going to court if that happens. We haven't had one yet, and lose. It would be a nightmare for that company if they lost that case, because it's going to be out there. So, I think that's kind of a tougher stance, and we're willing to do that because we would like to set a precedence, and we think that we would be victorious in that.
Yeah. In your opinion, is there a place for non-competes in business? Like, how would you view that overall? I know that we're talking about younger kids right now. What's your view overall for every position, every level? Is there a place for that anywhere?
I think it's situational. Now, we were on a 7-year non-compete with Coyote when we sold Access America to them, and I can see that 7 years was a little crazy, but they agreed to it. So but there's some validity when you sell a company to maybe stay out of the industry. But I think it goes against everything that America's about, to be honest, and the freedom to move around and to make choices. I'm not a fan.
Yeah. My stance on non-competes is this. I think there are some higher level positions, which usually there's seniority there. There's experience that somebody has. They should kind of know what they're signing. They probably can afford a lawyer, those kind of things. I think there's some seniority positions where it makes sense, but I just believe it has to come with compensation. Like, I get it that you don't want some competition maybe for a time period, but what is that worth to you? Right? It's got to be worth something. There's got to be compensation. If me being out of the market is worth 2.5 years of salary to be out for 2 years or whatever, okay, I'll find something else to do for a couple of years, but that'll be fine. But I'm getting paid. I'm getting taken care of. But these kids that you're talking about, these younger people, they're not getting taken care of. There's no compensation attached to it. It's just, you're not going to do it, and there's nothing you can say about it, and we're not going to give you anything for that. And that's where I think the line needs to be drawn. I think there are places, but compensation and a definitive time has got to be included. And that might make sense for those upper level positions, or when you sell a company, those types of things.
Yeah, just bullying people because they're going to go to a different company. That's rough, and it's happening a lot.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Okay, so we got like 5 minutes left. This always goes by really, really fast. So we're kind of getting to the finish line here. What are some things that you're going to be doing at Steam from a cultural perspective, from a marketing perspective coming up? You got the 10-year anniversary coming up. What's the summer look like at Steam? You got to have some plans, I'm sure. Maybe you don't want to reveal too many of them, but I love the culture you're building. What do you guys have on the horizon?
Yeah, it's a really cool place to work because I don't control a lot of that stuff. If I did, it probably wouldn't be as cool of a place to work, to be honest. I think that, we focused drilled in really close on diversity here. I think that's a really cool thing that we're doing. We're 25% people of color, we're 33% female at Steam, and that's not normal. If you look at a picture of an outing of a logistics company on LinkedIn, that's not what you see. We talk about standing out, right? That's the name of your podcast. And for us, if there's 22,000 brokers in the United States, including people in their basement in their underwear, you have to stand out in some way. And I think that, we have a unique product mix to offer and diversity. And there's just some things that you can stand out. Everybody has the same trucks. Don't let anybody fool you in brokerage. So, how do you stand out in the market? And so that's some of the things that we'll be certainly focusing on over the next year and over the summer. And we're building a new building next door, or renovating an old building in Chattanooga. If you've seen my post on LinkedIn, it's a really neat building. Very exciting for our personnel. At first, when we were building it, we thought we'd be leasing out the first floor. Now we're not going to fit in it when it's done in November, which is a really cool thing. So there's a lot of exciting things happening here in Chattanooga at Steam.
Yeah, no, that's really, I'm excited to get down there. I haven't actually spent a lot of time in Chattanooga, so I'll love to get down there whenever that's there. But that's a part of it too. Andrew Silver at Molo has kind of, done the same thing with his office space, like getting people to come into the office, making it an attractive place. Some employers are forcing people back in the office, but I like people who are taking the stance of, let me create an environment that's so cool that you want to come into the office. You want to be a part of this culture. And so I'm excited to come and see your office whenever it gets built. So kudos to you on that. What a great problem to have. The new building, not enough room.
Yeah. It's next door to ours. So we're going to bust a hole in the wall and we'll keep our current space, have it renovated to match. But that gives us about 1,150 desks here in Chattanooga. And then there's an upstairs that we can take over. So yeah, it's a good problem to have.
Yeah, there are worse problems to have out there. That's for sure. Okay, final question. I love hearing you talk about how you don't know how to do this. You don't know how to do that. It sounds like your philosophy from a leadership perspective is, let me focus on the things that I'm strong in, and let me find the best people possible to fill those gaps and then trust them. Is that kind of your leadership philosophy? Talk a little bit just for a moment about how you hire. How do you surround yourself with great people that complement what you're doing to benefit the company?
Yeah, I mean, it's funny. It had to be that way because, frankly, we were failing on the freight forwarding side because some of us didn't have that skill set. So we were fortunate enough to kind of hire ahead a little bit. Like we were kind of bigger than our shoes, right? We're just trying to hire people and convince them of the dream and bring them in. And we needed to do that. And so, yeah, I mean, I just think you can't be afraid of hiring smarter people than you, people that are stronger than you. Like, I'm not the smartest person in the room. I can promise that. I say it all the time. I know I'm not. And so unless you're willing to do that, you're probably going to stand still. And we've been so fortunate. Our people are excited. They're bought in, they're having fun, and they work really hard and they care. And that's a difference maker.
Yeah, no, without a doubt. And I think, to have the humility to just understand, hey, I don't know everything. And I want to make sure I surround myself with people smarter than me who can tell me what to do. That's counterintuitive to what a lot of people think leadership is all about. And so I love that about you, Steve. Thank you so much for being on the show today. I hope you'll come back and see us again sometime. It was great having you on.
Thank you very much. Appreciate you thinking about us.
Yeah, absolutely. Everybody for watching. Thanks so much for watching today. Remember, come back in an hour for episode 109 of Word on the Street. It's going to be a great show. And then we're right back here on Monday for another episode of Standing Out. And one little teaser, we do have a special episode of Iron Minds at 6 a.m. on Monday morning with Hayden Allred and Dr. Mark Manera from TMSA. So get in a workout, get your mind right, get ready for the week. Come visit us then as well. Love to see you then. But for now, it's Finish Strong Friday. Finish strong. Have a great rest of your weekend. Steve, thanks so much again. Appreciate you being on the show.
Thanks again.
See you, everybody.